What's up everybody? I am back with my topic videos, and of course I haven't done one for the past 5 months practically because I've been very busy and kind of had a loss for inspiration. So of course now I'm back with a new video, and I can't guarantee it'll be long running, but this one really drove me to making this video. Now, I'll be doing a bit of a political discussion on the protest that's happening in Hong Kong. Of course, the Hong Kong protest is just one of the case studies where I'll be going to protesting and emotional driven impulses in general. So for this topic, I'll be going into emotionally driven protesting. Now, if you're asking why am I not discussing about the political condition in Malaysia, which is related to the inclusion of the Jawi calligraphy in the Bahasa Malaysia syllabus, is because it's apparently clear that everybody is against it, and reason why is pretty clear. So I'm not going to go further into that, but go into something that is more international, and of course some people may be in a gray area in that. So let's get into it. Now, what is the backstory behind all this Hong Kong citizens having this protest in the train stations, in shopping malls, and even in Hong Kong International Airport? Now, one of the reasons why is because they are protesting that one of the reasons is because of the fact they're not happy that Hong Kong has now been given back to China. Because if you don't know, Hong Kong used to be colonized by the UK, and only in recent years, maybe in the 90s, not too sure, you can look up on the history on that, Hong Kong got returned by the UK to China. So basically, Hong Kong is running by its own administration, however, it is included in China. So if you happen to watch any movies which there are any celebrities from Hong Kong, they will say Hong Kong China instead of Hong Kong by itself. Because, like I've said, Hong Kong is now back into China. Now, you'll be asked, so some people may be thinking, why are they protesting after so many years? Of course, this is unclear to myself, but I'm sure that sometimes people may have accumulated emotions over time, and hence they will step out to have this protest because for them, it's been too long and I've had enough. Basically, it's because of that. But any details, I recommend seriously look up on the proper information before going into it, which is why some details I won't go off too deep, but I'll be focusing on the main part, which is now in. Now, personally, you'll be asking me, do I personally think that these protests are actually necessary? Now, first of all, often so we like to say there's a freedom of speech, and often so in politics, many people get oppressed into not talking, and even in the most first world advanced countries, people are driven into believing one thing because the political rules or laws do not allow such. Which I totally understand, because who doesn't like to be restricted of their freedom to say something or have an opinion? However, sometimes we say monkey see, monkey do, and sometimes this is the downside of being a human being, because often so we humans tend to like to monkey see, monkey do. People want to be irrational, but our response itself is also pretty much irrational itself, which is to me kind of a stupid thing. Because why should we be the same irrational version of the opponents, knowing that this is the thing that nobody ever wants to be? So going back into the case study, which I'm using the recent cases in Hong Kong. Now let's weigh in the things. Yes, the people are not hurt, but remember, how the Chinese government works is no stranger. Of course, I will not openly discuss it. Look it up yourself, and you may understand that China is a bit opposite to the US in the sense of there's no such thing as freedom of speech. What the government says is everything. It's something, they are still basically communist based, despite claiming they are the democratic something. I won't go too far on that. However, it is a known fact that China is already such, and you can't change it unless you're powerful enough to form a party to overthrow the current government, which I doubt is going to happen anytime soon. Maybe next century? I don't know. But given the current situation, you know that the Chinese government is already such. But is there a need to protest in such a way? I would say there are better ways to discuss things. But if you're dealing with someone that is a ironhead and doesn't want to listen, do you think there's any use holding these protests, attacking shopping malls, breaking windows? Now let's weigh the downsides. Now what people say is that they don't get hurt. They see all the harm, they see police brutality, but do they know what is causing all this? Remember, the police is given the job to protect and at least sort things out. If you keep acting violent, what do you expect the police to behave? Any answer? A police is trained. If you use violence against them, of course they're gonna draw their guns. Remember, police are humans as well. If you are facing threat and you have a weapon, won't you pull out your gun if you have one? You would. Police are humans too. Plus, they're given the job to sort things out. So, if you are acting like a violent and a big hooligan, what do you expect them to behave like? Question yourself on that one. Second thing, you keep having these protests. Remember, a country's economy is run by these investors coming in and out. There's money flow, there's business, there's commerce. Don't forget, any country needs to do is have tourism. All these factors contribute to a country's economy. However, if you're having all these protests, I ask you, would you go to a country which has protests? No. No tourists, no business, no investors, no money flow. Is your country going to survive without all this? I doubt it. And if nothing happens out of your protesting, I tell you, you're ruining your own country. Many times, some countries slump even deeper down the cliff is because their people are irrationally reacting. Because especially if you know how your government is, you should know very well that often so, even your most violent hooligan ways of responding will not work. Because simple, if you see a crazy insane dog barking at you, are you going to tell the dog to calm down? I'm pretty sure you would take out a wooden stick and beat it. Simple. If you act like a crazy dog yourself, how do you expect people to look at you? Last thing to consider. Don't you think that often so these protests are actually causing self-destruction? You waste your time, nothing works, you're not earning money, you're causing the economy to not make any money, and basically you're not doing your daily job as a decent citizen. There are always other options. Why is it that people today love to migrate? Simple. Sometimes when you're not happy, pack your bags and leave. It's very simple. If you join a company, you follow the company's rules. If you're in a country, you follow their rules. Because simply saying, if you want to change the rules, why not become the ruler yourself? It's very simple. And you can say, and some people say, it's my country, it's my country. No, you don't own this country. There's a reason why people basically migrate. But don't forget, if you migrate just to escape the situation, can you be absolutely sure that even in this new country, will you be able to live just as well as you're living now? Even better? Remember, every country has their own political issues. When you go to a new country, there are new cultures that you need to adapt. Can you be sure that this new culture doesn't have anything that you hate? All these things need to be taken into account. But often so, we do so many things that is emotionally driven. It lacks rationality. It lacks the common sense. It lacks consideration on the long term. It lacks consideration on who you harm. You say the Hong Kong police are brutal. They throw all these tear bombs, and they even cause a female to lose her eyesight permanently. Think about it. If you don't act like a hooligan, do you think they can do that? Simple. Think of how you treat a barking dog. Easy. The barking dog example is pretty simple. So, just to sum it, don't do things by emotion. Consider consequences before you have your actions. And always remember, you confide to the rules you put yourself in. Either you be the leader to change it, or you find somewhere else. But still, consider things on the long term, because often so impulse decision only works for now. What goes forward is always something to consider. Okay, thank you so much for spending this time to listen to me, and I hope I can put up a new video soon. If you like this video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, leave a comment if you have something. I don't expect you to agree with everything I say. This is just purely my opinion. You can have yours. You're free to subject to your own thoughts. But this is just something from my point of view. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.